Still, some of our friends are coming, sir.
Shall we wait a little bit?
I think we should wait for a few minutes more, sir, so
Okay,
that our friends will also join.
excellent. I see video quality is good enough and looks to work, so I'm happy. Good.
We are also happy to have you on our today's session, sir. Hearty
Okay,
welcome to our GCAM family.
this would be my second time I have the opportunity to I don't know, to share some knowledge or some ideas. Rajendra invited me last summer when I was in Kathmandu, and I had the honor to, I don't know, share some ideas. And today I'm back, and I hope you will, I don't know, enjoy at least from some new ideas. Okay. So let's wait a little bit. Okay.
Sure, sir. 2-3 minutes. We'll wait. After then, we will start our today's session.
Okay. Great.
Now we are in Facebook Live, so please go ahead.
Okay. Hello, namaste, and warm welcome to every one of you watching us live from Defense Career Academy Nepal, DCAN Facebook page, and from Zoom application. I'm your host for today, Ranjit Bandari. Since you all know that our DCAN has been running the series of Success Summit, where every day we call the guests from different fields and we talk with them on various subject matter. Continuing the process, today we will be discussing on the topic history of pandemic with Jeorge Calvin on the way from Spain. Before starting the program, I would like to thank Chairman of our DCAN, ex-Nepal Police SSP Gupta Bahadur Shrestha sir, and CEO of our DCAN, Dr. Rajendra Kisi sir, for organizing such an opportunity, such a great platform, by means of which in this pandemic also we are learning new things. Before we starting the program, I'm welcoming our today's chief guest. I would like to introduce more about our today's chief guest. He is Jeorge Calvin on the way from Spain, as I already mentioned. Talking more about him, he has more than 15 years of professional results-oriented experiences on entrepreneurship skills for new business and team management. He is involved for more than 5 years of R+D in consumer electronics, including design and field testing. Likewise, he has more than 10 years of experience in the space industry from payload to system marketing and sales. During these years, he has been in charge of business development, sales, proposal, coordinating, sorry, coordinating including multidisciplinary team management and media communication tasks for complex projects within the international environments worldwide. Now I would like to talk about his job and work experiences. He is currently working as BSAP Senior Account Manager at Omni Access Company in Palma de Mallorca, Spain. He is Global Account Manager at Marine BSAP Solutions, which includes expanding the company into new vertical markets such as cruise, oceanography, survey vessels, and USB, which stands for Unmanned Surface Vehicles. He was account and business development manager at Indra Company for 8 years, 9 months in Barcelona, which includes managing which includes managing business development, sales, proposal coordination, and bid teams on industrial and R+D projects for ESA, European Space Agency, and commercial programs worldwide for satellite communications, GNSS, and UAS. He has also worked as renewable energy professor at Center de Studios as writing and implementation of the renewable photovoltaic and thermal energy course currently offered by the institution. He has worked at Mere Communications for 6 years. Also, he has worked for business development manager and project manager for 6 years in La Garriga, Barcelona, as managing business development, sales, proposal coordination, and bid teams on industrial and R+D projects for space fighting equipments, including communication projects at European, USA, and Asian markets. Also, he has worked as IF responsible at Sony BC and Tech for 4 years in Valladolid Vallis, Barcelona, which included as small signal IF engineer for CTV development, designing, evaluating functional and EMC field test and online production introduction assistance for analog and digital front ends and TV receivers for Sony Europe as well. Yeah, he has also served as technical student at CERN for 1 year in Geneva, Switzerland, which includes designing and implementation of different pulse circuits for the PS proton synchrotron accelerator beam position sensors, design and implementation of real-time distributed systems based in Link OS for the beam position amplifiers and automatic calibration. Now I would like to talk about his education and academic qualification. He has done masters in business administration from IESE Business School University of Navarra. He has also done masters in project management Universitat Ramon Llull, also masters of science MSc in telecom engineering from Universitat Politecnica. Likewise, he has lots of volunteering experiences as well. He has done ICT and energy responsible volunteering program. Also, he has worked for poverty alleviation programs. Also, he has served as community volunteer in Nepal from February 2013 to October 2019 for 6 years and 9 months regarding poverty alleviation. Besides this, he has also been participating in many different social service activities. Also, he is a child right activist as well. Now it's time to welcome our today's chief guest in the program. So welcome to our program. The screen is yours now.
Okay, I see you could manage to get a lot of information about me. And okay, for me, what is the most important is that I have the opportunity, as you, at the end of my CV, as you know, I've been involved in charity and poverty alleviation, and somehow since many years I already have a strong link with Nepal, and I've been going to Kathmandu every year. Many years I've been like twice, 3 times, so I really know and I really love Nepal, okay? And I'm really happy when Rajendra told me to participate. I was happy to bring my small contribution, okay, to these tough moments we are facing everywhere because of COVID and the related lockdown, okay? So then let me start my presentation. I are always useful. So let me share something with you. Let me see. Apparently, I cannot share my screen. I see a message saying host disabled participant screen sharing. So this means that someone needs to give me permission to share the screen.
Sure, sir. Rajendra sir will share your screen.
I cannot share my screen. I need to share my screen to show the presentation.
Rajendra sir, do you hear me? Please allow him to share his screen as well.
I don't see. What can I do? Is anyone who's the host?
Allow him to share his screen as well.
I cannot share my screen. I'm trying to share my screen, but I got a message. Host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, sir, we got you. Our today's host is Rajendra sir, and he will allow you afterwards, please.
Okay, then I
Rajendra
wait.
sir.
We need the host. Let me text. Nothing? I'm calling Rajendra. Hello? How can we...
Sir, I'm trying to contact Rajendra sir. Is not receiving phone. Please, a few more minutes, sir. I'm trying my best to contact to him.
Okay.
So, do you hear me? I just called Rajan sir. He will follow you.
Okay, thank you.
We are really sorry for the inconvenience, sir. Sometimes in these virtual classes, this type of loops happens. We hope you forgive us for this.
Now looks to work. Do you see now something?
Yes, sir. We see your slides, issue of pandemics.
Great, great. Thank you. Great. Happy. So let's start then. First of all, I was about to introduce me, but I think with your super excellent introduction, there's no need to make further introductions. Okay, so we can move to the next one. So let's talk about the current situation. Okay, where we are today with COVID-19 is in principle, no? Everyone is saying, okay, it's very bad, it's a catastrophic situation where we are worldwide about to reach 10 million cases worldwide, and roughly 10% of them are deaf people. Recovered, fortunately, are 5 million, okay? But this is like a big disaster we are having from the beginning of the year, depending on the country. But this is a real and serious outcome we are having, and in fact, we didn't expect for this year. As you can see here, we see how the total number of cases are growing spectacularly from March until today, and the same with the number of deaths are proportional to the number of cases. So we are currently in a bad situation worldwide. And that's why we are here. We are in lockdown. In fact, in Spain, we are starting to relax this lockdown, but has been also a very tough times. And I understand now you are now in Nepal still in lockdown. So it's a serious thing, right? So regarding Nepal, the current situation is that
Excuse me, sir. I just stopped. You were seeing your first slide in the screen, sir. History of pandemics. That is what we are seeing, is it?
you don't see anything changing?
No, sir. The slide hasn't been changed. We are
Okay.
just viewing the first slide.
So let me just, apparently I'm sharing the screen. Now I stop sharing. I share again, and then I go here. Do you see now this? Do you see a different thing now?
Yes, sir. We are seeing COVID-19 so bad.
Okay, this is what I tried to explain before. Now, but okay, we already talked about that, okay? So 5 million, 10 million, and almost 500,000 deaths, official deaths. Because if we, do you see now a new screen?
Yes, sir. We are now seeing COVID in Nepal.
Okay, it works. So officially in Nepal, we have 10 or almost 11,000 cases, affecting to many of the administrative districts. But okay, these are already a lot of cases. In fact, if we talk per district, per population, we have some specific regions with much higher density, case density, and in some administrative provinces we have even more than 2,400 cases in the district. Okay, obviously this is proportional to the density, the population density. So in the big cities, the probability to have more cases increases dramatically, okay? And the total deaths in administrative provinces, we see here one of the provinces is still worse. And in my, I don't know, I think you are there and I think you know it better than me. And this is also happening here in Spain, okay, and in many countries. This is the official number, but we all know that the real cases are much, much, much higher, okay? So we are having troubles. And then what means this in terms of, do you see a new slide now?
Yes, sir. Now we are seeing
Okay.
rapid assessment on COVID-19 impact Nepal.
So what means this for Nepal and for many countries, but specifically, okay? This is reducing 89%, dramatic drop in the monthly average, okay? So people is getting very, 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 very poor. The monthly income is reduced. Also, there's food scarcity, 85%, 36% taking loan to just to get food because people cannot work. There is no, the economy is stopped and the disaster is very big. Also, the difficulties to follow the minimum hygienic prevention measures are not really followed, and many people didn't receive any help or any social protection. Okay, so then apparently, no, we are like in a big disaster, and nothing could be worse. Okay, and this is a sentence from Paul Cézanne. Cézanne is an artist from France, and he says, if I think everything is lost, okay, so it's like, okay, then this is the worst thing we can have, the worst situation, and everything is lost. And then that's why I say, really? Why? Let me then show you something. Let's talk about history, okay? Black Death, okay? There were some previous pandemics. This is one remarkable one from the 14th century. This was called the Black Death, okay? Where 30 to 50 million people died, okay? 50 million. Now we are talking about 500,000 people, okay? So this plague was caused by a bacteria, okay? Yersinia pestis. And this is still happening, okay? This is linked with rats. And at that time, as I said before, killed up to 50 million people. At that time, the concept quarantine was invented. I mean, after this big plague, the concept of locking down people during a period of time, in fact, of 40 days. That's why the name quarantine, because it comes from the Italian. Okay, this was conceived in Italy. Okay, was invented, and at that time, this widespread death caused labor shortages across the feudal society. But this shorter labor force led to higher wages, cheaper land, and also was changing the society. So, because the perception from the society was that their leaders were not really doing the necessary to fight against this big pandemic, okay? And at that time, this was somehow the starting point to move many social changes, okay? And in fact, this was a fundamental shift on how the people was interacting with religion, philosophy, and politics, okay? And after that, it came the Renaissance period, okay? A very important period in the history of the world. So somehow this big disaster was somehow pushing some new era in the world, okay? Another one, there was another one in the 19th century, what is called the modern plague, which is a similar case. It's also caused by the same bacteria that killed 10 million people. This started in China again, and then spread to Hong Kong and many other regions. Then by the end of the 19th century, there was another one in Russia, killing 1 million people, okay? This was, in this case, a virus from the influenza. It's not a coronavirus, it's the influenza virus, which started in Russia and then spread through Europe, okay? But then, in the 20th century, we had another big catastrophe, but this is not in the 14th century. This is just 1 century ago, okay? We had the so-called Spanish flu, which killed up to 100 million people, okay? This is a virus, okay? And infected over 500 million people and killed 100 of them. So this was killing 20% of the infected people. So it was really, really, really bad, okay? And in this case, this flu was killing, I mean, now with coronavirus, we see how it tends to kill elder and weak people, okay? At that time, the Spanish flu had some preference to kill healthy adults between the ages of 20 and 40 years, okay? At that time, there were no antibiotics and people was dying like that, okay? In millions, okay? And what that time was also the First World War. So the world was immersed in a super big disaster, okay? Later on, in the mid half but I wanted to say something. In this flu, they started to, because the medicine was more developed, they already knew how to somehow prevent this to happen. And they were starting to do some lockdown. So there were some countries like in United States where they committed earlier and longer and more aggressively to social distancing, which saved many lives. And also, this helped to have the country stronger after this outbreak. So at that time, the concept social distance was already applied, okay? Then also, we also had this other one, the Asian flu, killing 2 million. And then in the 60s, we had another one in Hong Kong, killing another million. In both cases were viruses from Hong Kong or China. So as you can see, we had regular cases, regular outbreaks of viruses or bacteria in case of the Black Death, okay? And killing many people. What else? We also had Ebola, another virus, which is super aggressive. which was just 2 few hundreds deaths, but was really killing everyone around, is something that is super, super dangerous. And HIV, which is something which is still ongoing, okay? And HIV has killed about 32 million people. But as you can see here, for example, we were talking previously about the virus of the Spanish flu killing 100 million. HIV has been a big challenge. In the 80s was a real challenge because it was an unknown disease. But this now today is something that can be treated and can be controlled, but still there is no way to prevent, I mean, to remove completely the virus from the body, and it's still killing many people. And then SARS, okay, this severe acute respiratory syndrome. This is from this century, okay, which was a similar virus to the one we have today, which was also related to bats in China and spreads around 29 countries around the world, okay? So, and this was killing less than 1,000 people, but it's a remarkable milestone because it was somehow the start of this new, it's not a new family, but okay, new cases of these coronavirus-related outbreaks and pandemics, okay? At that time, the importance of SARS was that's the importance of communication. I mean, as soon as you detect an outbreak anywhere, communicating immediately to everyone for the others to take the necessary prevention actions, okay, to prevent, to catch the infection, okay? And this was our first case where we could see, because this is a modern virus already, we could see how a virus can spread around the world in the current era of air transportations and globalization, okay? Before we could have an outbreak in a given region, and it could take long time until this could spread worldwide. But today, in this hyper-connected world we have, these kind of viruses move really, really, really quickly. Another one, in 29, we had the swine flu killing 2,000 people. This was another virus, in this case, influenza A. This is an estimation, 18,000 deaths and around 200,000 people catching the infection. And then again, Ebola, killing, before was less than 1,000, this time was 11,000. There were like 28,000 cases worldwide and killing 1/3. Okay, so this is a very, very dangerous virus. This was basically in the region of Africa, mostly, okay? And cases out of these regions were isolated and somehow exported cases. So now we started, okay, talking about how bad we are. And now we have seen a list of historical outbreaks of pandemics. And what happens if we put our COVID-19 in a list ordered by the number of deaths, okay? So what we see here is that it's not the first one, not the second one, it's not the third one. So it's somehow in the lower parts of the killers, okay, in terms of killing people. Right now, we are around 400,000. This is going to increase, obviously, but okay, it's not as other cases that we had in the past. Okay, so maybe it's not so bad for in terms of how to say compare with other previous cases. Okay, what is different now? What is different now? What is different today is that today we have much more awareness and much more social care, or we mind much more the people lives. So we have some prevention actions that obviously in our case forces us to lock down and stop the economy. So because we are better now, I mean, the societies, and there are international bodies, the World Health Organization, and the countries in general are better organized to prevent this to spread around. The price we pay is we are locking down the economy, but and this has a very, very expensive toll, but we are saving lives. I mean, if we would do nothing, instead of being in the lower parts of this list, COVID would be much higher in this list and would be killing many more people. So things are bad, but compared with previous cases or previous occasions, are much better because we are doing the right things to prevent to spread and kill more people. Okay, being true, the consequences, the side effects of our measures are we are locking down the economy and locking down many people, and this will also give some other problems. But in general, we have a better, in fact, the behavior in general is better worldwide, okay? And then let me, again, what I'm trying to, somehow I wanted to bring today is a message of whatever you have in your life, whatever you can think could be the worst thing that can happen to you, you have always to look it from perspective, okay? You have to take into account the historical track record, see and compare with previous cases. Because if you take things in perspective, you can have a different view, okay? For example, this is the life expectancy, current life expectancy in the world as of today, okay? In Nepal, the current life expectancy is 70, almost 71 years, okay? So, things are, it's true, Nepal has a lot of issues. I've been there, I know Nepal really, really well. I know there are many issues, still many hurdles to be solved. But if we compare how has been the life expectancy in Nepal in the last 60, 70 years, we can see in 1950, the life expectancy was just 35 years. And now we are near 71 years, despite of the crisis, despite of the wars, despite the pandemics, despite of any issues, the life expectancy is increasing and increasing. So if we take this in perspective, we can see the current situation as something that, okay, it happens to us, but it's not the worst thing that can happen. Before has been much worse, and we have a lot to improve, a lot in the future. This is just also another one. If you compare the GDP, do you know what is GDP? GDP is the economical outcome of a country, okay? But we can also count the GDP of the world, okay? And this graph shows one index of the trade markets along the previous 100 years, okay? And here we see clearly how there are like ups and downs, downturns, where we can see, for example, the First World War, and then the Second World War, the Depression in 1929, then the oil crisis. But as you can see, okay, there are crises in the world, but in the long term, it finally grows, it finally improves. And this is also for our lives. This is also for our lives. In our lives, we have and we will have crises, downturns, and very bad situations. But at the end, we go on, we continue, and we improve. And that's somehow my message for today, okay? What I wanted to somehow transmit, okay? Like, okay, it's a difficult moment, but this has not, doesn't need to mean it's time for pessimism, okay? We have to continue doing things in the right way, as we are doing now. We are taking actions, locking down, taking care of the people. It will be very hard, but sooner or later we will overcome the situation. This is the graph of the GDP per capita in Nepal, okay? Before I was sharing the life expectancy, which has grown remarkably. And here we see the GDP per capita in Nepal in the last 50 years, 60 years, where we see basically from the this century, the 2005, it's improving dramatically, okay? So of course, now we are in a bad situation. Of course, now we are suffering a lot, but because now we get more knowledge and we have much more resources, we now know how to do things in the right way to overcome the difficulties, in this case, the COVID. Before, it has been much, much worse, where, as you could see before in the previous slides, even 100 million people were dying just like that due to the Spanish influenza, okay? And now, yes, we are still having many people dying. We are suffering a lot, but sooner or later, we will go on and will improve, okay? I didn't want to be very long today, and for me, this is somehow what I wanted to explain. Let me then go through the conclusions, okay? The first one is things are getting worse, but they used to be much worse. This means, yes, this is somehow a piece of food for thought, okay, to think about, okay, today we are suffering, but before was much, much worse. And sooner or later, we will overcome these difficulties, okay? Another good news, lives are more important than before. I mean, now we take actions to prevent more people dying. And that's why we are ready to even stop the economy to save lives, okay? And this is very important. This means the world has changed in the sense of having a more consciousness of the value of lives. Before, there were people, years, I don't know, 100 centuries before, many people was dying and was not important, okay? And now it's more important. And another point, okay, for me important as today's explanation. In general, in life, try to look at things in perspective, okay? Because if you know the history, and that's why it's so important for many of you that are students are now preparing your future, is very important. You read a lot and study history and you learn about the past. Because if you know about the past, you can see things in perspective, and this will help you to take the right actions, the right decisions, and also understand better that maybe it's not that bad, okay? Because today, and this is the last point, we have much more information. Today, we have internet, we have all the satellite communications, we have many ways to gather a lot of information almost in real time, and this helps us to make things much better than before. So we are better prepared, or I would say prepared better than ever to overcome crises like the one we have today. And it's true, it's being tough, and it's going to be very tough. But if we compare with other periods, it's not that bad. So that's why, in the meantime, what can we do? Think global. I mean, understanding what is happening in the world, understanding what happened in the history, understanding, having the big picture of everything, and act local. What means act local? For example, in the case of COVID, what we can do is looking down and follow the instructions from our authorities. If we stay at home and we follow what we are asked to do, we will help to the community to prevent more cases of COVID in this case. In the meantime, many labs, many laboratories, many research institutions are working to develop vaccines, treatments, and in fact, since the beginning of this disaster, the beginning of the year till today, treatments have improved a lot. Okay, still we don't have a final solution, but things are improving dramatically in a matter of months. Okay, and it depends on us. Okay, in our side, how we follow the instructions from our authorities and how we help to prevent the virus to spread around the world. Okay, and on top of that, not only just the actions we can do to prevent this to spread, having in mind that it's not just about COVID, because same as in the past, in other pandemics, the way COVID is going to reshape our culture and any unexpected influence will have for generations to come is unknown. We don't know. This will have an impact. This is a defining moment. And there are obviously clear economic changes arising from this outbreak, but this is also a moment for opportunities. Some businesses are going to disappear, but new ones are going to consolidate. Everything related to remote communications, internet, will consolidate. COVID-19 may permanently normalize the use of virtual technologies for socializing, business, education, healthcare, even religious worship and government. So this is like we are living a moment, a historical moment that is true, that is becoming, it's a threat, but it's also an opportunity for many of us. And it's in our hands how we adapt to the new changes. And a recommendation, a final recommendation, the way to adapt to the whatever is going to come is having the right knowledge. If you know the history, as we could see before, you can somehow predict what could happen in the future, and for you to be ready for whatever is going to come in the future. And we must be prepared for the emergence of more pandemics, because it's not the last one, and there will be more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for explaining so briefly about the cases of COVID-19 and the condition of our country. So now here are a few questions that our viewers want to ask with you, and also I want to inform all the viewers as that we are going to enter to our Q&A session, question and answer session. So shall I proceed to the questions?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Here is the first question. As you showed the cases or say the viruses, the pandemics that the world faced earlier, like Asian flu, Hong Kong flu, Black Death, the modern plague, etc., etc. So, as per you, what may be the main root cause of this type of pandemics? Is it because of the activities done by human beings?
Okay. I maybe you would expect a simple answer saying yes, no. But obviously there's the humans are now, we are affecting a lot our planets, okay? And there could be some human linked, some human, okay, root causes, okay? But I understand the question goes like in the direction of, is this something that someone invented in a lab or something like that?
So rather than inventing, are these pandemics are causing because of our activities done by the human beings, or what do you think, sir?
I don't know. I mean, there are different theories, and in fact, how to say, the official current, the current official theory says that this could be a virus coming from a bat passing to the man. Okay. But this is still a theory, okay? And there are many conspiracy theories saying other things. And what I would say is we don't really know. I mean, the right answer would be we are still investigating and we will find out the reason. This is something that started some 6 months ago. And I can tell you other viruses like HIV, for example, took many years until it was somehow understood how it works, the origins, and so on. So, in my opinion, I think this is linked with the interaction between a man and the animals, and how the viruses evolved, because we had some similar cases. This is my impression, but I could be wrong, and we will know. Sooner or later, we will know.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I want to proceed to the next question. In Spain till now, total 247,000 COVID-19 cases has been confirmed, out of which 150,000 recovered cases and total death of 20,327 as per the data of uh, uh, today. What has Spain government planned or say the strategies that your nation has made to get over from this pandemic?
Sorry, can you repeat the last part? I mean, the first part is, yes, the number of cases, the number of, and then why the government?
What has the Spain government has planned the strategies to overcome from this situation?
Okay. Okay. There is no clear consensus. I mean, worldwide, the different governments are taking different decisions, okay? Some governments are doing nothing and they are suffering a lot. For example, in Brazil, they have a president who is not really for locking down anything, and they are having a serious situation. In general, each country is taking decisions, and in the general consensus is the first thing we can do is what we are doing today: locking down, social distance, prevent, maximize the distance between people, because we know the virus goes from mainly from the throat, okay, to the other individuals, okay. So this has been demonstrated to work fine, to prevent more cases. In parallel, and this is more international, there are several initiatives to design a vaccine which could prevent others to take the virus, but it could take years. And in parallel, sharing, and here it comes the importance of information, because we have several groups working worldwide, treating thousands of people and sharing their knowledge. And as soon as someone learns about a new drug that helps someone to, I don't know, to alleviate the symptoms or improve their situation, this information shares worldwide. So the measures are local. When I say local, it's national, but also the measures must be international, from international bodies coordinating the different actions to design vaccines and effective treatments and drugs, if any. As you can see, and at least the answer is not a simple answer, okay? And this, my recommendation again, I would not trust someone coming with simple answers, saying, no, this is because of this, blah, blah, because this is something that takes time until we know, and this is very, very recent. So we are still learning a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I want to proceed to the next question. What are the impacts of COVID-19 in Omni Access company? Since you are also the senior account manager of Omni Access company, what have you planned post COVID-19? How will you handle the economic crisis that COVID-19 has brought in your company?
Good question, because this shows an example. So in our company, we were since the beginning, our management took the decision to send everyone, we are a telecommunications company, okay? And we have some critical services that need someone being managing the system. So someone going to the office, to our facilities, because we are managing the satellite antennas to bring internet. So we need people there. What we did was, as soon as things became more serious, everyone not essential went home. In fact, this is I'm here in my home, so I'm still working from home, okay? We are now allowed to go to the office, but in a very controlled way, okay? We have to coordinate with others to be sure we are not too many people in the office. And luckily, we didn't have any case in the company. We were very lucky, and but because we've been taking the necessary precautions to prevent this to happen. And regarding economy, regarding our company, obviously we had some customers, many customers, canceling contracts or asking us to reduce the contracts. For example, we have some of our customers are cruise companies. Imagine today all the cruise companies are closed. So they were also asking us to close or minimize or reduce the service with them, okay? Because for obvious reasons, okay? But so far, we managed to continue. And okay, this year will be not the best year, but will be a year where we can still continue our activities, and the company is going to continue in principle without major issues.
Thank you so much, sir. Our viewer Pukarji wants to ask you a question. He asks that, sir, as you have worked in the field of poverty alleviation, and the global and also Nepal's economies are suffering and the poverty is growing due to this pandemic, what do you think is the most effective measure to overcome the poverty in a long run?
Oof. But I think this goes beyond the viruses. Because if you have a virus or you have a situation like the one we have, and you have a strong and consolidated economy and society, is completely different if you have a different types of cultures, for example. One of the issues I learned, for example, in Nepal, that is creating or not helping to alleviate poverty is corruption, okay? So for me, one of the most important changes that Nepal needs to apply would be improving the corruption, okay? And education is not just about education, because Nepal has a good, I think, good education for basic, how to say, okay, depends on the region, but at least there can be the means to get some good basic education, but later on corruption is not helping. And I think, of course, virus is this situation is going to make things worse, but in the base of everything, I think culture and education and corruption is something that needs to change. And this is not easy, I know, and I'm not bringing miracles. And I think this is somehow one of the big challenges in Nepal and in many countries. It's not just about Nepal. We also have corruption in Spain, okay?
Sir, Vishal Basnit has asked you a question. What are the major responsibilities of youth to spread awareness for community if they are living in rural areas?
Which are the major responsibilities of youth? Sorry.
What are the major responsibilities of youth? You want to ask that how can a boy from rural areas can raise the awareness in his community?
For you mean for the virus, for the COVID?
Yes, sir. Not only for COVID, but also awareness campaigns or say the awareness raising programs. How can a boy from rural areas can speak up to raise awareness in the community and society as well?
It's not easy because again, this is somehow escapes in rural areas. Is You can do things locally. I mean, you can make some small changes, but what is important is are the um, uh, politics in education, for example, politics in transport and logistics, infrastructure. So you can live in a remote area, and if you don't have good communications, you don't have good schools, you can try to do whatever you can, but the way is this one. I mean, awareness, consciousness, education. It's about real education, and this somehow goes beyond the, how to say, the angle or the scope of a small village. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Since you have spent lots of years in our country, Nepal, I want you to share some of your memories that you want to remember forever, sir. Some of your exciting or say memorable moments in our Nepal.
Oof. Uh, Good memories. I have a lot of good memories. Um, we started in Nepal near um, near Kathmandu in an orphanage, the OCRC, and I met some 25 children, and I remember how important for them has been always the fact that we were there not just to help for a day, but we wanted them to know we were there to help for their lives, and that we were going to come back again. And I think that my best memory is when coming back year after year, when I see the smiles and how these children are developing and have developed. Some of them are already in the university and are very good students and will be good IT managers or pharmacists. For me, this is the best memory. How I could see how they developed and how we could help them to become successful persons. Okay, this is finally 50-50 work, or I would say 70-25% work. 75% of the work is done by them because we can help, but you have to do the work. Okay, the memory is when I've seen this in many occasions, how they've been growing up and developing, And many times maybe they don't remember where, or they remember where they come from, but somehow they are looking forward, and I hope they will also help other children in Nepal to develop the country.
So now, when have you decided to come to visit our country?
When? Next time?
As sir, I mean, when will you visit our country next time?
Oof, I don't know. Because right now the
Maybe
situation
after lockdown,
is,
or
let's see, depends. We go, as you know, we have our duties here in Spain. And okay, normally when we go during our holidays. And sometimes it's not easy, okay, taking the decision to go. It also costs a lot of money because the tickets are expensive. But the current situation is not facilitating. I mean, I cannot tell you when we are going to be able to travel. Uh, no idea. I mean, I think the country is today is closed to flights, international flights. And in Europe, we are starting to have flights. So I don't expect anything solid in few months. So no, I don't know. I wish I could know, but right now I don't know. Hmm?
let's hope we will meet soon in our nation. So now I want to proceed to the next question. In our country, it has already been 3 months that we are staying inside our home as a lockdown, and mostly those people who used to carry their livelihood by using the daily wages. I mean, like porters and taxi drivers, especially they are being victimized because of this lockdown. So as per you, what do you think, is only the lockdown is the solution of this pandemic?
No, the lockdown is not the solution. The lockdown is a temporary action to prevent the virus to spread. The solution will come through a vaccine or an effective treatment, which is under development now. What we can do in the meantime is locking down as of today. And once we have the cases under control, the number of cases, learning somehow going back to normality, but with the necessary precautions. This means maybe we can slowly go back to normal life, but keeping distance, not touching to each other, having wearing masks. Okay, in Kathmandu, many people was already wearing masks for other reasons, but in general, I know this only know someone who has been there, and but in general, learning how to interact with people, keeping distance before we have an effective treatment or a vaccine. Okay, this is, for example, here in Spain, we are now going back to the new normal, and the new normal means you can go out, you can go, for example, I can go to the gym, I can go to the shops, but I have to wear, when I go out to the street, I have to wear a mask. Don't touch anyone, even my good friends, we don't touch. It's not easy sometimes, because sometimes you like to, I don't know, shake their hands, or I don't know. But that's a way. And we have to somehow keep this in mind all the time if we don't want to go back to the hard lockdown. Here in Spain, I can give you the example. Here in Spain, we had, during some days, we had more than 800 more than 800 deaths per day, okay? Now, because of lockdown, we have maybe one or two per day. But we have to pay attention. We are back to normality, but keeping the precautions, keeping taking care and preventing to do some actions like touching, and we have to wear mask. So in summary, it's not the solution, but it helps to reduce the number of deaths.
Sir, what is the latest condition of Spain? Is everything back to the normal life, or how is the condition over there, sir?
Almost, yes. We are this week, current week, we are back to the new normal, what is called the new normal. This means almost everything works almost normal. But for example, we are starting to have limited flights between Spain and other countries in Europe. When you go to the airport, you have to follow some special procedures. You have to keep distance. You have to, they check your temperature. For example, some activities are not possible. For example, if you go to a discotheque, you cannot dance. So you have to somehow stay keeping distances and not touching to each other. Yesterday, I went to some friends' place for lunch, and we are very good friends, but we didn't touch. We just say hello like that, touching the elbow, you know, but we didn't shake hands, okay? So this is something like, okay, now we are better. We don't have so many cases, but we have to be careful because the virus is over there. And until there is no treatment or vaccine, we have to continue taking care and paying attention.
Exactly, sir. Keeping in mind about the safety measures, I also think that we should be back to the normal days. Sir, here I have next question. What may be the challenges and opportunities to education sector post COVID-19? Uh, since the virtual classes has been also increasing, what do you think of it, sir?
I think for education, I think this has been how to say a formidable, fantastic case to promote remote education. Where right now we are talking now through this platform, and we are sharing some knowledge, and this
Mhm.
works. So for a country like Nepal, for example, this could be a revolution, an opportunity to bring knowledge to some remote areas where maybe they don't have a solid infrastructure, schools with all the facilities, but with a proper remote education program. This can help to these remote places to develop. So this can be a positive, there could be a positive outcome of after this crisis because of this, the technology is already there, and now we are starting to use it in a regular way. So after this 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 is solved, maybe this will continue all these remote education um, systems. And the same for work in our company. Right now I can stay at home, and I'm very productive, and even more productive than when we are all together in the same office, because I'm in my place and I feel more comfortable and I can stay more focused. So I think this can have a positive impact. And this goes to this slide when I was explaining, no, about sometimes the big crises are also becoming opportunities to develop or consolidate new things that finally become an improvement for the future.
Thank you so much, sir. Uma Pradhan ma'am, who is watching us live from Darjeeling, India, she wants to ask that. what is the condition of quarantine in Spain?
Condition of quarantine right now. Right now we have no quarantine as such. Today we are allowed to go out and move freely around the country. But some weeks ago, we were in lockdown and we could not go out except for very, very specific activities like going to the supermarket, going to the pharmacy, and in some special cases, going to work, but only the ones having a special permission. But today, there is no quarantine as such. It's already, the lockdown has been removed, and we are in the so-called new normal.
It's so good news to hear, sir. In this pandemic, in our country, thousands of people has committed suicide because of mental problems, and also domestic violences has been rapidly increasing. So, what can be done to help the people who are affected mentally and psychologically by COVID-19 pandemic?
Wow, this is also this happened here in Spain. Yes, because when you are in lockdown, and if you are somehow in a weak mental conditions, this can somehow get your situation worse. And it's true that this can become and worse the situation of some weak people, either because they have mental issues or in some cases because violence. Okay. What we did here in Spain was facilitating the way to help the people, providing a specific phone numbers where you can call. For example, if you are a woman and you are having suffering violence, you can call to this phone number and they help you to somehow rescue. Okay, I mean, in fact, they come with the police and okay, they take control of the situation. For mental health, is not that easy because
Mhm.
many times it's not easy because sometimes it's not easy defining how to say the edge between normal health condition and mental illness. No, you can feel sad, but maybe you are depressed and commit suicide, and it's not that easy. There were also some phone numbers to call, and normally what helps is social, I mean, the social links, the family, the relatives. But I know it's not easy, and mostly in Nepal, it's not easy at all because many people can have this issue, this mental issue, and not having anyone who really minds about their situation. Okay, so it's not easy.
So we are almost at the end of this session. At last, I want to ask you, what are the good things and the things that needs to be corrected in our country? I don't want to say bad things, but the things that needs to be corrected. So,
I don't know, good things. I can say many good things. People is very nice. I also learned many things about your culture, even your religion. Okay, but sometimes religion is not helping. I mean, sometimes has two sides. You know, like give some principles, and sometimes also is not helping to maybe going beyond. Okay, because you can think that everything happens because of God, and then you have nothing to do. Okay, but in any case, I have a lot of positive things about Nepal. Maybe I think, as I said this before. I think one of the pending actions in Nepal is how to deal with corruption. Okay, how to make a strong democratic system with a real balance between um, executive, uh, the parliaments, the governments, and justice. Okay, a true justice, preventing the governments and the parliaments to do wrong things. And I think I think for me, one of the most important things is corruption. Also, it's also true that Nepal has a difficult situation because of the geopolitics, okay, because of India and China, okay, it's between two big countries, and somehow, how to say, suffering the consequences of some geopolitical decisions, okay. But this would be, I mean, this is like when, for example, in our lives, sometimes we can think we have bad luck because others are doing a bad thing for us, and okay, we are not responsible of what we do. But another way to see things is, okay, I'm responsible of the things I do, and it's up to me to find a way to improve. So Nepal can be like, okay, I'm not lucky because I'm in the middle of this fight between two big countries, or taking the right decisions to develop the economical autonomy. I know it's not easy, and somehow, but somehow this would be like, okay, the pending, how to say, actions or things that could improve, okay. But I tell you, I know, because I've been there and I know the country, this is something that takes long time, and it's not easy at all to change.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. Now we are almost at the end of the today's session. At last, what do you want to say to all the viewers that are watching us from Zoom and from Facebook Live?
Wow. Simply, no, for me it has been an honor to have this opportunity. Again, I would repeat like my message for today, like things can get worse, but if we see things in perspective, and if we read, we have to read, we have to know. If you know the history, you can also have more chances to predict what can happen in the future, or at least have more tools to take the right decisions, okay. And if you just few of you just remember this, for me it's a success, because this means today's talk has been useful for someone to remember, like learning from the past and looking forward, taking into account what we know from before, and things are in general going to improve. So it's a positive message of optimism.
Thank you so much, sir. At last, I would like to call our Defense Career Academy Nepal Dikans Chairman, ex-Nepal Police SSP Gupta Bahadur Shrestha sir, to hand over virtual token of love and vote of thanks to our honorable chief guest. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjit. Namaste from Nepal, Mr. Jeorge.
Namaste.
Yeah, namaste from Nepal. It's going to 6:32 in 6:32 of the evening time. So, what's your time in your span?
Here is 2:47 p.m.
2:47. So, good afternoon to you. Uh, I'm watching here in the beginning. So, first of all, I would like to thank to you for your very precious time and your presentation. You gave us very much knowledge that since the 14th century, so from 700 years, we are suffering from such like this disease, isn't it? Uh, Various types of disease are here from the this almost 700 years. So we have not to be panic here in this time. So we have to think that we have to learn from this history. So you give us so many knowledge from this slide, very much deep knowledge and various type of data we get here from your presentation. So uh, in this time, what we are suffering, what we are having here in this time, most of the people they don't know about the